there is no pretense of consistency. I mean, on that side of the aisle, it's like we're going to throw out the following 17 completely contradictory rules, and then we'll tell you which rule is operative in any given moment. So, I was going to throw out this concept of the Hilbert problems for social justice. So one of them is you cannot understand me because my experience is too different, and you must understand me because my is so important.
Yeah.
Right? Or we are all similar enough that any deviation from 50-50 shows you the amount of sexism in a workforce. And we are all so different that once you include women in previously male occupations, you will see a great benefit because of the diversity of opinion.
Well,
so there are all these self-contradictory couplets.
Right, that you have to agree to.
Well, that's the weird thing is assume that I just buy all of your stuff. I think we've made a terrible tactical error. We fought these bad ideas rather than saying, maybe we should just accept all of your bad ideas and then show you what kind of weird world.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. You can't do that because they don't make sense. You can't say, oh, yeah, they make sense. Well, then how do I know when you're serious?
Well, but that's
if you just let those through and those things fail.
But that's my point is that by showing the internal – this is in mathematics, we call this reductio ad absurdum, that once you take on too many different points, you show the conflicts showing that those things can't all be true. There's no way in which if I accept all of your ideas, I can run anything. So, take this thing about trans exclusion from Victoria's Secret. Right?
What?
Oh, you didn't hear about this?
Oh, God.
So the idea is that the Victoria's Secret lingerie division head had to step down where there was this scandal in the background that somebody had said, we don't actually want trans people walking the Victoria's Secret runway. Right? And so very interesting. You have a company that is dedicated to the commercial exploitation of humans as sexual objects for the privilege of the male gaze. And now you're angry that it doesn't include trans into that exploited class. So just without getting into whether this makes like good economic sense or anything, there's just the issue of self-contradiction.
But isn't that a reductionist view of what Victoria's Secrets is? Isn't it possible that a woman can feel empowered and sexy if she's wearing lingerie, and it's not just to the exploiting of the male gaze, that it just that she appreciates looking attractive?
Wonderful. So take that on.
That's okay, right?
Right, exactly. So the idea is that you're both going to say that that's a positive female empowerment issue,
right,
and it's a terrible male exploitation issue at the same time.
But is it a terrible male exploitation issue? Like, what if a guy what if women decide universally they like guys who wear leopard skin underwear, and guys start wearing leopard skin tighty-whitey underwear?
Well, this is sexual selection.
But yes. But what's the difference between that and women wearing lingerie? If women wear lingerie and they do it because they like to be gazed at and they like to be more attractive to accentuate their attractiveness. So then
the sexual self-objectification is an interesting issue. Is that an issue of empowerment, or is it an issue of oppression?
It could certainly be.
Well,
if a woman's healthy.
So take that all on.
Why does it have to be exploitation, though? That's the question.
What I'm trying to say is at some point you've made too many arguments. There's this concept called the principle of explosion in mathematics. The principle of explosion says if you can get one contradiction through airport security, you can blow up the universe. That as soon as you allow a single contradiction in the unity of knowledge, everything can be proven.
Right.
So everything becomes meaningless. So the game, in some sense, in mathematics is frequently to say, well, let's take all of those beautiful things that you believe. Mm-hmm. So you've just enunciated some, I've enunciated some, you throw them all in. Instead of saying what's true and what isn't true, you say, are these compatible? And these ideas are clearly incompatible. So, for example, one of the tricks that I use is to look at advertising for women, to women, and what phrases get used. So if you use the phrase turn heads this summer, in quotes, and put it into a search engine, you'll find all sorts of revealing outfits that are intended to court the male gaze. You say, well, maybe that's not really the male gaze. So then you put in a phrase like make him drool. And that will be used to market to women. And so this issue about can we at least get to a point where we're talking about the internal contradictions of your position. Like I don't even want to get into what my position is. The first thing that's scaring me is that you've said so many things so strongly and so dogmatically. And this doesn't have to be about gender. It could be about race. It could be about class. But once you've said too many things, then I can say, look, I don't see any way of squaring all of your positions. And it doesn't even have to do with me.
Right.
I think that's where we haven't gone to yet.
So you think letting them come up with as many preposterous things as possible, and then once it gets to a position where the ideas contradict each other, expose that.
Well, that's my point, which is once you've told me all of your principles,
Okay.
then I'm going to say, great, I'm confused. Do you feel that I have to understand you or that I can't understand you? Because I don't know which is operative in this situation. Tell me the rule how I decide which principle that you've stated governs this situation.
Right.
And
so either go ahead.
One last point about that. I don't want to have to refer to you where you say, well, you bring me each individual situation and I will tell you which principle is operative and which principle is inoperative. That doesn't work. I want you to list your principles and list your mechanisms for resolving the conflicts within your principles. And then once you've done that, we can actually evaluate what you're saying. But at the moment, it requires you as an oracle to tell me which of your many seemingly contradictory positions is operative in every particular case.